Hmm. What's happening, people? What you need in the building? And we're gonna talk a little bit of boxing at this point in time. Don't worry about the light and all that. We don't care about that. So I'm hearing people trying to take away from Gervonta Tanks Davis win, talking about how Leo Santa Cruz was a smaller guy, and they expected him to knock out Santa Cruz in 6. I was hearing on shout out to Joe Habib, ringside reporter, where Montero was trying to say how Gervonta don't have a claim to pound for pound like Inui, because Inui faced a guy named, I think it was Montero as well. Now I just want to talk about this a little bit because no excuses, man. No excuses. Some of y'all picked Leo Santa Cruz to win. I didn't pick Leo. Yeah, I actually did pick Leo Santa Cruz to win by split decision, or Gervonta Tank Davis to win 8-4. I said that. I didn't think that Gervonta could knock out Leo Santa Cruz because Leo Santa Cruz has good defense. And y'all said he was too big, too strong, the people who said that. And y'all was actually right in that he was breaking down Leo round 4, round 5. He was breaking down Leo, even though Leo was blocking and catching the punches. A lot of people think that Leo don't got defense, but he did have defense in that fight. Just as I said. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a minute. I never expected Gervonta to just like put that beautiful side step right here, right up the center right there. Oh shit! I mean, Gervonta did some. I mean, god damn. That was a goddamn punch, right? Leo was out before he hit the ground, right? That's a goddamn punch. Leo never saw it. But the thing with Leo, he tucks his chin and everything, and he does it right. The problem is, what's the neutralizer for a guy who tucks his chin? Uppercut. Now that ain't new. Tank throws left uppercuts all the time. And I'm gonna talk about Reggie Prograis versus Juan Heraldez. I watched all the fights again. Savannah Marshall versus her opponent. I forgot what the girl's name, but versus her opponent. We're also going to talk about a bunch of other things. Don't worry about the light that you're seeing right now that might be distracting you. What you need in the building, we give you what it is. I want to hear you guys comments again on the fights, but we're going to get it down. We're going to break it down. First and foremost, Lee Selby lost to George Kambosos Jr. I didn't talk about this fight. This was on the undercard, I believe, of Usyk versus Chisora. First and foremost, let me just say that I thought Lee Selby won that fight. Okay, I thought Lee Selby won the fight. I thought Kambosos wasn't really, you couldn't find Lee Selby in space. I thought Lee Selby was the guy that was doing it. Tariq H, what's up, my brother? Tariq H up in the building. Brother, you were right about Tank. I mean, it was a competitive fight, though. Let's not make it sound like it was a one-sided fight. Tank just beat down Leo. It was a competitive fight. But you was right, man. I love that. It was Leo was throwing the right hand, right? So I'm being the orthodox stance. So Leo came like this. Boom, boom, right? Then he countered him and he hit Tank flush on the top of the head with the right hand. Boom, right? So I'm over here. Boom, right? And then he did it again. Boom, right? But this time Tank blocked it. He caught it, right? And then after that, what did Leo do? He decided to do the same punch again. So he basically, and Tank's responsible for that. Because Tank did like this, right? And he caught it, right? He caught it. And then after that, what did Leo do? He snapped back. Boom! Tried to throw it again. And that's what Tank did like this. He sidestepped. Right up the center, right? And caught him. And Coach Calvin, credit to Coach Calvin. Shout out to Coach Calvin. Coach Calvin said, go for the ceiling, baby. He saw the uppercut open. He saw the shot open because Leo was trying to fight back because he got hurt. So he was trying to fight back. And his defense wasn't very tight. Before that, in other rounds, if Tank shoot the uppercut, Leo rolled it like this, right? He rolled the uppercut. And he got the hand right back here. So he come right here. Hook, right? Up, right there. Hook, right? You slap it down, right? Or you roll it. But in this case, Leo got hurt by a body punch just a couple minutes before, and he decided to fight back. And he really came at Tank. He was really coming at Tank. Obviously, Tank was walking him down in round 6. Tank went hands up. Okay, I'm coming at you, right? And he was walking him down in round 6. And he was really closing the distance to Leo, and Leo was trying to fight back. Obviously, Leo was, I wouldn't say he was a smaller guy, but I would say Tank was the stronger guy, right? Tank obviously was the physically stronger guy. Technically, Tank was actually doing better work picking off Leo's shots than Leo was doing with Tank. Even though Leo was blocking the shots, the problem with it is, even when you try to catch and block shots, with that kind of torque and power that Tank has, and how he would hit you the 1-2 to the body, you go right to the body. You know, when you're doing that quick 1-2 right to the body, you do that quick 1-2 to the body. That's where Leo, you know, he catching them, but you remember, there's a difference between rolling and slipping where you're catching, because when you're catching, you still get the full weight of the power of the shot to the body. So, all right, I hit you ha, right? I hit you ha, right? It's different to where instead of me doing that, I slip back, I throw my jab, I slip back here, right? So you miss, right? Or I ride it a little bit, right? Right? It's different. So yeah. But I gotta give Leo his props, you know, for taking on this fight, first of all. And he was a true warrior. I mean, but shit, didn't see that shit coming. Never saw it coming. I thought Al Bernstein was just on the brink of saying, oh, Leo's not a guy who just gonna, you know, let you knock him out. And then he went, boom. He was like, oh dear. And that shit, but we all know Leo was gonna go down in a bunch of flames. If Tank didn't separate his senses from his body, he would have been fighting all now. You know what I'm saying? But man, god damn. You know, so let's talk about that. So what Michael Montero was saying, which B sort of kind of implicitly agreed with, was when Michael Montero was saying on Beebs, the ringside reporter, Mike Montero from the ring, he was saying that Tank's opposition, which wasn't top 10 in the super featherweight division, which is bullshit, because how could Leo Santa Cruz not be top 10, but yet he's a champion in the division? You get what I'm saying? So the ring is saying Leo wasn't top 10, yet he was a champion at I'm sorry, no F-bombs. He was a champion at featherweight. He was a champion at super bantamweight. He was a champion at bantamweight, right? He goes up and he becomes a super featherweight champion, right? But yet he's not ranking the top super featherweights. That's the bullshit that these guys do with their narratives. And Beeb let him get away with it. Because Beeb was saying, you're not establishment guy, but see my partner right here, he establishment guy. And you know, but he let Michael Montero tear down Tank's opposition. There's no way in hell that Naoya Inouye's top 10 contender for his title in any way can match the caliber, the status, and the ranking of Leo Santa Cruz. In fact, Leo Santa Cruz should be a pound-for-pound fighter. Everybody knows this, right? Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, who did this Montero dude face? That faced Inouye, right? Leo Santa Cruz faced Carl Frampton. Leo Santa Cruz faced Abner Mares. Leo Santa Cruz faced Cristobal Cruz. Who this dude is? So how the hell you gonna tell me? Okay, so he had 2 super featherweight fights, but look at his pedigree. Look at his ilk. There is no way you're telling me that Naoya Inouye's win over whoever this kid is because he watched him, right? This kid who faced nobody, right? How that could that was a more pound for pound thing than Tank's win over Leo Santa Cruz. I don't like when people they talk about being unbiased and then they lie about narratives and they create this narrative that shapes around their little story to try and discredit a fighter, right? I always listen to Michael Montero, but I know he has this antagonism against the PBC. There's this son of a gun. Anyway, let me see what you guys are saying in the comments because I know you guys talking right now. Tariq H says he was setting up early in the fight, and if he stays in shape all year, he will be unstoppable. Man, no doubt about it. You know, but I can't say yet. I'm not gonna say he the best among the youngins. We got plenty of youngins coming, but yes, his weakness was his preparation. His weakness was his preparation. But as you see in my videos, I apologized for my rant the last time with you. If you haven't seen the video, you should go back and watch it. Where I said, no. Tank came in shape and Leonard B was overseeing everything and it's cool with Tank, right? And to me, when Tank came to the weigh-in, he looked okay. He looked all right. He looked like he had energy and stuff. And the beautiful thing about it is on fight night, Tank didn't look that significantly bigger than Leo either, which means he really was in shape. He really was in shape because he came in. He was bigger than Leo. Leo's a skinny kind of dude, but Leo and he look about the same size. Okay. And don't get it twisted. Leo did hurt Tank a couple times, and Tank had to make adjustments to Leo. But yeah, man. I mean, Leo, Tank even explained it. He said Leo was countering me. You know, he was countering my jab, and he was doing some really good things. Leo was landing some nice lead right hands as well. So let's not get it twisted. Leo was doing a great job. It's just that I think that he wasn't in the division long enough. And I think Tank coming from a higher division back down would have had the strength advantage over Leo, you know. But even so, I don't even think that's what knocked out Leo. I think I heard with the body punch, you know, the Mexican in him, he started fighting back, right? Which is great. But I think he just got a little careless on his defense, and that was because it was fatiguing, right? He was listening to his corner, like Tank was saying, and it was blocking the punch. And Tank said he was just going to commit to it, try and wear him down. And he said the body punches is what really got Leo. And the interesting thing is, he did get some body punches in the fifth. He really did. And in the sixth, he was just ripping it, and he was just bringing that pressure on Leo. Leo had to go on the back foot, and Leo wasn't allowing him. It was like, I ain't taking a step back. And he was jogging with him. You know, it was really good. But I believe Leo and trying to fight back, like how the hell you gonna? But again, tired. So Leo he hit him 3 lead right hands, right? He threw 3 lead. He didn't hit me 3. He hit me 1. He threw 3 lead right hands, and that told you when he was repeating the right hand lead, because he knows the right hand lead is the thing for the southpaw. But the thing that Leo didn't do, you can't blame him because he's tired. Like Tank said, his body was breaking down, but his mind was so strong, it was just fueling him onwards. So Tank felt like he was breaking down because he was watching his reactions to when he get hit with a punch. And even though he blocked the punch, you can see his body moving this way or that way, right? Well, he was a hell of a fighter, man. He's a hell of a fighter. We'll see what he does from here. But I hope he faces Gary Russell Jr., you know, just to show everybody. I hope it's a pay-per-view as well, because Leo's never in a fight that's not exciting. And he's done so much in the sport already. People say, you know, Al Heyman and company protected him or whatever. But listen, man, Leo is a good fighter. He's a great fighter, sorry. He's not good. He's great. Okay? And I hope he ends up facing Gary Russell Jr. I hope he faces some other name fighters, because I think even though he got knocked out in this pay-per-view, he showed he's pay-per-view material. Like, people will pay to see. I mean, people always come to see Leo Santa Cruz fight. He's a big attraction. That leads me to the next thing, which a lot of people do not understand about Floyd Mayweather, and they do not understand about Tank. Okay? Tank versus Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney next. I think Ryan Garcia might be next. Might. It could be somebody else. Here's my thing with Tank. All right. What Floyd is doing with Tank, if y'all don't understand, is he's trying to get the biggest possible fights for Tank to make the most possible money for Tank. Floyd understands boxing is a limited sport in the sense that you have a certain lifespan that you last in the sport. So it's about making the most amount of money in that lifespan if you got the gifting, um, you know, with the biggest possible fights. And you can't have the biggest possible fights if you don't have the biggest quality fighters, right? Ain't nobody gonna go and watch you just demolish Joe Bow when there's another guy out there. So Floyd understands the game really, really well. What I don't like about Max Kellerman, what I don't like about even ignorant guys like Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. is they do not understand that Floyd is not just trying to reach hardcore boxing fans. Neither Tank, the vision for Tank is to cross over into mainstream media and take boxing to a whole other level. So to be able to do that, you have to create fights which are exciting. You have to create fights which end in knockouts if possible, or you have to create fights with fighters who are high top tier fighters that everybody knows as well. So it's about guys that make the most noise. That's who Tank need to face. Now, I always listen to Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. said, "I'll fight the top dog. Anybody challenge me, I'll fight him. I'll fight for belts." That's cool, okay? But in this era of boxing, to get the younger generation to be interested in you, you have to do a lot more than just be this fantastic boxer. So people will watch you, and if they watch boxing, then they can get in love with boxing. Floyd understands that very, very well, okay? There's nobody that Floyd has a problem putting Tank in the ring with. He put Tank in the ring with anybody, right? He knows Tank can handle his business with whoever. But what he wants to do is get the eyes and ears on Tank. And all everybody's talking about is Tank. And to do that, to make Tank a global sensation, to make him somebody like a Mike Tyson or like himself, to blow him up bigger than himself and Mike Tyson, because Floyd's trying to give Tank a gift. He's trying to give him the best formula for boxing. And I think a lot of people are now embracing that and understand it. It's not that he's trying to pick and choose, and duck and dodge fighters, but he also wants Tank to be in a certain mindset where he is at his ultimate best, where he is sharpest at his sharpest, where he is at the pinnacle of, so he can give pinnacle performances, because it's all about the performances. And what Tank has that Floyd lost later on in his career is Tank has good hands. And Tank is solid and strong right now, and he's healthy. So Tank has that advantage. The disadvantage Tank had was the discipline. He didn't have that fucking discipline. Sorry about the F-bomb. He didn't have the discipline. But with those tools alone, Floyd knows he could see this guy mold and shape, and then afterwards he lets the guy do what he wanted to do with his career. You see, because Floyd knows he had to let Tank go free eventually. This is a gift that Floyd's giving to Tank. You understand what I'm saying? Because Floyd will not be his promoter forever. He knows that. Because based on his model, Tank is going to want to promote himself in the biggest possible way. And Tank should be learning the business as well, which Floyd is going to be teaching him. Floyd's actually teaching him the business as well. So when Tank becomes big, he gets bigger than Floyd Mayweather. He said, I want to have the next Floyd Mayweather. You understand what I'm saying? So the formula that Floyd's putting down with Tank is not just, a lot of people get twisted. It's about ducking and dodging and cherry picking. It's not that. It's about making noise. And a lot of people don't understand that. This is the entertainment business. You got to make the most amount of noise. Ain't nobody out there right now making noise. You see what I'm saying? Dontae Wilder was making noise, right? Tyson Fury's trying to make noise, but he has the capacity to do, but he don't have the team around him to really make that optimal noise and break him free. Because Tyson Fury's trying different things, right? But he's still not a global name that a casual fan will know. Casual fans still don't know Tyson Fury like that, even though he went into WWE and he's doing different things. Tank has that capacity for the casuals, which is the most important part right here, because they're more casuals than hardcore. The casuals to like him and want to pick up boxing because of him. He got all just everything. He got all that. He got the underground. hip hop movement right there. He got the black community supporting him. Like, it's all wired up for Tank. They knew about Tank in the amateurs, and a lot of people follow Tank. So Tank has the urban community behind Tank. Now we gotta get the global community behind Tank. And the hardcores like you and me, we say, oh, Tank ain't fighting nobody. And then, okay, this is the first somebody he faced, which is Leo, excuse me, Leo Santa Cruz. But what y'all missing is Leo Santa Cruz got the Mexican market. And on top of that, so a lot of Mexicans now will be looking at Tank. And Tank fights like a Mexican. Tank fights like a Mexican. So it's easy for the Mexicans to come on board with Tank. Now the question people will say is, well, what kind of opposition Tank had? So when Tank starts to face from Leo Santa Cruz onwards, Tank starts to face premier opposition. People think Tank will beat. And let's say Tank beats them. I don't know if he'll beat them, but let's say he does, right? When Tank starts to do that and he starts to beat them, and let's just say, this is a lot of ifs, but let's just say he gets them out of there. Like, they go 12 rounds, 11 seconds before the 12th round, he gets a guy out of there, right? He's getting guys out of there. That's where Tank gets to this stratosphere of a Mike Tyson-like stratosphere. He just blows up into tremendous and because he can box, and because Floyd's with him, just imagine this. Picture this for a second. Picture this for a second. Picture where this could go, okay? Dude slick as heck. Bob and weave, slip and slide, right? He got the skills to do that, but he also annihilate. Nobody lasts 12. And the guy who seemed like he was going to last 12 with him and was doing great work and everything, he gets obliterated in the 12th round. That's a fucking crazy. That would be crazy, right? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. That would be legendary. That almost everybody he faces in that ring, he somehow finds a way to stop. Right? That won't happen. That's a reality that won't happen. But my point is, or it could. It depends on how he grows as a fighter. But the point is, and he ain't looking for stoppages. He never says, I'm looking for a stoppage, right? He doesn't get caught up in his power and all that bullshit. He's just a boxer, but he finds a way to not just win, but put an exclamation point on it. You can't doubt that he won. You know, it's not, oh, they went to the scorecard. No, he ain't no scorecards involved, right? So imagine something like that happening, right? Tank. You would see why it took time, and Mayweather was making sure the pieces of the puzzle will fit together properly. There was no rush. I'm going to put them together properly so that when he does what he does it in such a manner that it crosses all lines. Everybody in the world stops to watch this boxer fight. They know who this guy is. And because of that, some of them will get into boxing. See, that's the trick. That's why they're taking their time. Because they want the best possible product to come out. You know? And that's why, and so Tank trusts them to make that happen. My thing is with Tank is to learn more about the business. He already has his promotional company, which is Gervonta Tank David, right? GTD is his brand, right? Gervonta Tank Davis, and that probably be his promotional company as well. So what Floyd's doing is giving him the biggest push he could possibly do. And then when it's his turn, once he understands the game really, really well, he'll take it from there and go. So we're talking about Floyd Mayweather, TBE. Well, let's see what happened with Tank. Let's see what Tank take that. Let's see what Tank take that. Does he take it to the next level? Even with wins or losses, even with losses on his record, where does he go with that? How far does he go? So these are the questions we need to know, and we'll see. I mean, but it's very important to understand that a lot of people are saying, you know, that they're not putting him in with real competition, that Leo Santa Cruz was in real competition. And I see guys like Montero and all these other guys trying to put down Leo and then trying to give him props at the same time. I don't like that. I don't like that crookedness. Leo, I've never said that Leo wasn't a great fighter. Leonard Ellerby even said it. And I'm maintaining it. Even though he got knocked out, he was fighting all the way through. He was landing some great punches. Yes, he was getting broken down. Even though he was blocking the punches, he was getting broken down. You know, I think he has underrated defense. I did not think Tank could knock him out, and he proved me wrong. I thought this fight was going to be back and forth to the wire, and Tank would have went 8-4. All right, and I know a lot of people will say, but how can you ignore the fact that Tank was a bigger fighter? He didn't look that much bigger. He didn't look that much bigger. He looked solid, but he didn't look that much. He did look the stronger of the two. He did look the stronger of the two, you know. But then again, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Leo was holding his own. Leo was doing his thing. You know what I mean? I just want to say though that it was an exciting fight. I was wrong, and I'm not going to even try and back down. I never saw that uppercut coming. I never saw it coming because Lee was protecting it all the time, and I thought he had it under control. Nope, he didn't. You know what I mean? Good fight. But Leo is a much better opponent than Norway. And all I gotta say about Tank is, man, you know these people Mayweather Promotions know what they're doing. You trust them. Of course, you want more challenging fights. You want the tougher fights, and hopefully that happens. You know, we hear about Tank versus Ryan Garcia next, and that's cool. We're hearing about Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos Jr. And I told you I thought Lee Selby beat him. Okay, me personally, I don't think he beats Teofimo Lopez. I don't think so. I don't think he has what it takes to beat a Teofimo Lopez. Just as how Wayne Herelda, he didn't have what it takes to beat a Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis, it was easy work for Regis Prograis. You know, there are levels to the sport of boxing, and I just think that these gifted fighters like Prograis, like Teofimo, you know, they just on another level to them cats. And everybody's talking about Kambosos. I thought he lost that fight to Lee Selby. Honestly, I thought Lee Selby took it, but apparently they scored. They scored it for Kambosos. He's the up and coming rising star. I guess he beat Lee Selby, former world champion, slick boxer. He didn't stop him nothing. You know, but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. That's boxing for you. You know. You know, there's levels to the sport. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, you know, this trying to discredit Tank off the Leo win, I don't like it. And I know, you know who else was talking about that? What's his name? The kid from Michigan. I always forget his name. And he was talking down Leo and saying Leo's a punk and he ain't got no defense, and he got defense, you know. And I'm the first to say it. I think that Leo did one hell of a job in that fight, you know, making it an exciting fight and so on. You know, it's just that, you know, I think the difference in that fight was the fact that Tank got hit with a lot of punches by Leo, you know what I'm saying? But Tank could take Leo's punches, I think, a lot better than Leo could take Tank's punches. I think Tank was the stronger. You know, because Leo had a good game plan. He had the right approach to it. But I think that Tank had the strength factor. You know what I mean? Let's talk about some other things I want to talk about. So, on the cards as well, we had By the way, if Teofimo Lopez moves up to 140, he's not ducking anybody. Okay? Jay Holmes, what's up? Good morning, bro. Who you got, Teofimo or Tank if they fight? That's a good fight. I don't know. I don't know who would win. Honestly, I don't know who would win. You know? They both get hit. They both crack. Teal knows how to fight southpaws. Tank knows how to fight orthodox fighters and southpaws. They're both very gifted. I don't know. It's very fast, explosive fight. I don't know who would win. You asked me about these new breeds. I don't have enough information to let you really know. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. That's a nip and nip. That's a close fight. Tank versus Devin Haney, close fight. I can't say. Lopez versus any one of those guys, close fights. I can't say. Shakur Stevenson versus all them guys, close fights. I can't say. Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, close fight. Can't say. Terrence Crawford versus any one of those top guys, close fights. I can't say. You know, much people put Terrence Crawford up there. I think he's just one of them boys that we just have to see him rumble to know. Like his fight with Kell Brook would tell us a little something, how good he really is. You know? But I can't really say right now. Those are all close fights. You know? And in boxing, you can't really call it. I say close fights. Like even with Leo versus Tank, it was kind of close, right? Leo first took the first 3 of the 5, even though in the 5th round, Tank was starting to close the gap and starting to get to Leo. Leo was the guy that landed more of the punches. You know, and Leo was really starting to pick it up himself. So, I mean, it was a good fight. But like I said before, apparently Tank was stronger than Leo. I think that was the major point. I don't think it was that Leo wasn't doing the right things, but it's just that Tank was a bit too strong for him. And Tank went to the body. Leo hardly gets his body exposure if you look at that fight. But in the 5th round, I think he got some fatigue from that banging on him. And I think he succumbed. Tank started to get to the body really easy in the later rounds when Leo started trading. He started to open up and trade. And Ryan Garcia would see that and say, I'm long rangey. I'm quicker. You know, and if I could keep Tank off his rhythm a bit, I probably could beat his ass. And Devin Haney probably looking at that like food as well. Because them guys master boxers, you know, just to be proven. You know, and everybody's saying, well, Ryan Garcia's fight with Luke Campbell's going to be a tough fight. Well, I mean, it could be. It could be if Ryan makes it tough, you know. But if Ryan has done his homework on Luke Campbell and he knows what Luke Campbell's susceptible to, you know, by watching what Lomachenko did to him, what Jorge Linares did to him, and he thinks he's the levels above them, you know, he made quick work of Luke Campbell. Quick work. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he has to watch them. I'm just saying. That sounds weird. But these are just exceptionally good fighters. There's a difference between Regis Prograis and Juan Herrera. The difference between Luke Campbell and these young cats, these youngins coming up. They're just different. You know, Lomachenko and these young cats coming up, they're just different. You know, they different. Now, Inui, he's a good fighter. You know, he's a great fighter. But he's not on the level of these youngins. These youngins is a totally different level. Right? And you knew he got a lot. But you saw Donaire. Donaire showed you, you know, he ain't all that. You know, Donaire showed you. And Donaire has limited offense. But with the limited offense he had, he showed you how he dominated Inui. You know, and broke his eye orbital and roughed him up and everything. He knew he kept him with a good body punch in the 11th, though. But, you know, Old ass Dontae doing that to Inui. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You know, Inui fought a fight of his life against Dontae. It was life and death for him. So I mean, he's good. He's better than most. You know, he's sort of a product of the new breed. But the new breed that I'm talking about, man, the new breed that I'm talking about, they different. They different. You know what I mean? They different. Like, very exciting fighters, and they different. Here's how you understand what I'm saying. There's boxing, and then there's beyond boxing. You know, these guys, they do creative things in that ring beyond just their boxing. See, Inui and Lomachenko are guys who follow rules of boxing, fundamental rules, right? Floyd used to compose on the spot like jazz. He hit you with a move we never seen before because it was like jazz. These youngins got that same tendency to just create on the spot, do things. They follow textbook stuff. Don't get me, they're fundamentally something, but then they just come out of the clear blue sky with something new that you never heard, never seen before. That's what makes these youngins different. You know what I mean? Inui follows textbook shit. He follows the textbook stuff, which is good. It's great. But where's your inventive creativity? Where is that flow where you do something totally different? We don't see that every day. So that's what I'm trying to say, and that's where I think these youngins kind of do something a little bit different, something you never seen before. Something they in the middle of a fight they pull a move or something you just never saw before. And that's the cool thing about these youngins. That I'm looking forward to it, man. I won't be able to pick just like that. I had to actually look up a two-way, because these guys got it all. They bring all kinds of things to the table. J Home Mel Maz HD says, "You're right, bro. I don't understand the hype behind Inui. Inui just came to America, and then Montero lost his shit. Like he all up in Loma's ass, and now he all up in Inui's ass. Anybody from Top Rank, you don't notice people just talk all the best possible things about them, but everybody else they shit on. I see this shit over and over again, right? Inui just came to America. His debut fight against some dude named Montero or something like that, right? Who we never knew who the fuck he was, right? Sorry about the F-bomb. And all of a sudden, Montero says, that's a better fight. And how he demolished him than Tank demolishing a 4-divisional world champion who was world champion at super featherweight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, YouTube just try to screw me. YouTube just be trying to fuck with me, man. Yeah, 4-divisional world champion. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And he know it. You gonna just dismiss Leo like that? Oh, hell no. You don't do that. A great fighter like Leo. Oh, Leo is not really pound for pound status. I heard Max Kellerman say. And I was looking like this clown, and Floyd checked him real quick. He said, so Lomachenko, he had championships in how many divisions? And they say I think it was about 3. So, all right, well, Leo's a 4-divisional world champion. So what are you talking about? He went through more divisions than Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? Right? So I don't understand. I don't understand these people. Always trying to put down Leo Santa Cruz. Oh, well, Leo's not really, he's not really competition. Don't do that. Don't do that. Then they go on to say, he's not pound for pound. Leo's not pound for pound. So Floyd said, well, listen, he mightn't be recognized in America like that, but he's recognized in Mexico. And you know what Max Kellerman immediately does? He tries to twist that into business and currency. Oh, well, Leo Santa Cruz, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the monetary aspect. And Floyd was like, that was not what Floyd was talking about. Floyd was talking about the fact that in Mexico, they rate him as a pound for pound fighter because he always brings it. He always bring it. And he gets the W. and he's done it in 4 different weight classes. But they wouldn't talk about that shit. Max Kellerman, they try to twist the narrative every single time. So Floyd called him out. He said, "You biased. You biased towards Top Rank." I'm on record saying that. You know. Hold on a second. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Come back. So 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 Leo, right? 4 divisional world champion, right? Faced Kyle Frampton, beat Kyle Frampton. Kyle Frampton beat him. He also beat Adam Mars. He also beat a couple other guys. I could go check it up, right? But these people, they have the audacity to say that, ain't face nobody. I hope he faces Gary Russell Jr. eventually. Maybe Gary Russell Jr. moves up to super feather. Lee should stay probably at super feather. Gary Russell move up to super feather and face him, so we can get an exciting fight. Because Gary Russell Jr. is an exciting fight. Let's see it. Let's see it. You know, let's see. Leo's got tons of opportunity. You know, now Gary been chihuahuaing again. Chihuahuaing. Tank's a hot name, so Gary's calling out Tank and shit. Chihuahuaing. Hey, whatever. You know what I mean? Gary talking about he would tap Tank's ass. I'm looking at Gary like, dude, you just want to get a fight with one of these guys. What you gonna do with Tank? What you gonna do with Tank? You ain't gonna do shit with Tank. y'all see me disrespecting Gary all the time. You know why? Because Gary's all talk. Gary's all talk. He had his opportunity with Devin Haney. Devin Haney's a much bigger guy. You know, now he trying to target Tank. You know, he want Tank. He want Tank. What are you gonna do with Tank? What is Gary gonna do with Tank? Gary, you got fast hands. Nobody say no. You got fast hands. Leo had volume. It's pretty quick too. You know. But what you gonna do with Tank, Gary? What you gonna do with Tank? Didn't you not see what Tank did to Leo? You want to get in the ring and get some of that? He's strong. He very, very strong. Tank is an extremely strong guy. Keep your little ass down in featherweight and fight people down in featherweight, Gary. I'm gonna disrespect him because he all bark. He has no bite. He's all bark, no bite. Talking about Terrence Crawford. Right? Then you can't even get your facts straight about what happened. He's all bark. He's no bite. He had Chihuahua. All right? Gary, calm your little ass down. Stay down in stay down in featherweight. You're gonna move up, and you know that. All right? I love to see you face Belichick. Just remember, Belichick can crack. Okay? He can crack. He's much bigger than you. You might get your ass beat up by Belichick because Belichick loves to fight on the inside. Right? Gary talk, man. Gary got a lot of talks. He beat Jojo Diaz. All right, cool. Jojo Diaz, absolutely a good fighter. But that was a close fight. Even with Tuxton, who's limited in his offense, Tuxton gave you a good fight late. You know what I mean? So, Gary, cool your ass down. If you're serious about making a move, make it. Don't talk. Don't chihuahua up in here. Make the move. Otherwise, you're just a little punk. You know, and nobody gonna take you seriously. I don't care who's in the Baltimore area. You just want to get a paycheck. Cause you know Tank would smash you all around the ring. Tank would smash you all around. Tank would smash you all around the ring. You know this. Be excited. But Tank would smash your little ass around the ring. Everybody talking about Gary more muscular than Tank and all this bullshit. You out of here with that shit. Out of here with that shit. Tank been at lightweight. Tank fought at lightweight. Tank campaigns between lightweight and super featherweight. And Tank got boxing skill. And Tank got that composure. A lot of people talking about Tank's composure now. And those people saying Tank's flat-footed, that's bullshit. Tank is not Adrian Broner. Again, go watch Tank in the amateurs. Same thing y'all was saying about Teofimo Lopez. Go watch Tank in the amateurs. Tank is not flat-footed. Right? That's one thing Tank is not. Go watch him. Watch him. Lil Tank. When he was all 13, 14, 15 years of age. Watch those feet. Look at how quick those feet were. Look how quick those hands are. And he's southpaw. He's southpaw too. So he put a little twist on the Floyd thing. Is he left hand happy? Yes. I prefer to see him use his right hand as well. Split punches and throw the right spear jab a little bit more. But all in time. You know, he's much more compact, much more explosive than the younger Floyd Mayweather, who was like Floyd remind me of Michael Jordan in terms of elasticity. Tank remind me of LeBron James in terms of precision, accuracy, and just the sheer explosiveness. You know, simpler in design. That's what I think a lot of people like. You know, the argument between LeBron and Michael comes in because LeBron does it in a simple way. Michael used to hang time. Michael used to double punt, double pump, double clutch. You know, he used to make it look real pretty. LeBron just spring up in the air, go over you, jump clear over your head, and dunk a ball. You know, he keep it simple. He could double clutch and double pump too, but he don't have that hang time like Michael. Michael, short little dude, 6'6". He jump in the air. You go up after him, and he still come down after you. The hang time, that's the thing. With Michael Jordan, he had a lot more time to be creative in the air because he stayed in the air a lot longer than other guys. He would he'd jump up in the air and then he'd pull his legs up. So it'd take a little longer for him to come down on the ground where his legs touch the ground because he snapped his legs back down on the ground in the last minute. So he stayed in the air longer than you would. We call hang time. He had a lot of hang time. You know, he'd leap up in the air before you. You leap up in the air after him. You make your maximum height, and he's still up in the air, right? And then you coming back down, he's still up in the air. By the time you hit the ground, he double clutch or whatever he did, and he go where he go. And the other thing with Michael was unique in the sense that he could jump on the spot and go vertical, but he could also leap off of one leg. He could leap off both legs and go vertical and travel through the air. He could leap off of one leg and go vertical and travel through the air. See, a lot of basketball players, they either could leap off of one leg and really do it. They're really good at that, or they really could jump off of two legs and they're really good at that. Michael was explosive both ways. He could leap off of one leg and really cover distance and still get that vertical. Or he could leap off of both legs explosively on the spot and not only get the vertical, but remember, he also get the hang time. So he could stay there, double clutch, double pump, and then do what he got to do. And it was very physical ball game. So guys trying to pull you down and all that. He needed physical strength to get up in the air like that. LeBron don't really have the hang time like that. You know, I've seen him hang in the air a couple of times with his fadeaway jumpers and shit, double pump, double clutch. He could do it, but because he's so physically big and physically strong, you know, he don't. And then he passes the ball as well, you know, which you know, but he keep it simple. Like he keeps it simple. He don't double clutch, double pump. You know, move his hand all through the air, trying to maneuver between the hands and all that shit. He don't do all of that. He just keep it simple. He look at a simple line. He understand the game in a simple way. And I think boxers today, that's the difference between them and boxers yesterday. Let me illustrate by actually demonstrating for you guys so you see what I'm saying. So boxers of yesterday sometimes used to do what we call unnecessary feints. All right, so I'll give you an example of that. So boxers of yesterday, boxers of today, they stay in a fixed stance. They got fixed stance, something like this, right? Some of them have a stance, something like this, okay? Some of them have a stance, something like this, right? But at the end of the day, they in a fixed stance, and that stance protects them from a lot of shots, okay? Guys back in the day used to do all this. And they swivel, and they get out of the way, and right? All that shit, which is burning up a lot of energy, right? Because, and some of them used to be here, and they move back, right? And then some of them with feint moves, unnecessary feinting, because the guy is not biting it. So there was a lot of things in yesteryear where guys would consume a lot of energy. And the guys today have become a little bit more efficient in the boxing. You know, they've been a lot more efficient. Another thing is, a lot of guys today specialize in working certain things. The guys of yesterday, I think, are more elastic and more natural, but they're not as sharp. See, when you just fighting fights, right? You get more natural at fighting. You get more natural but you're not necessarily perfecting a particular move or particular technique. Whereas guys who been in the gym using the pads, whatever, they have precise, like LeBron James. They got very precise, accurate, really perfect technique. You see what I'm saying? So technically speaking, some of the guys today, you know, when you see them, they're super duper duper sharp. When I say sharp, they're really sharp. Not on the fast, but in the fights, they really, really sharp now with their punches. You know, it's very specific to specific areas, and they're very sharp with it. Whoosh, bow. And so that's the difference between the new breed and they got their angles down like razor sharp angles. They got it really down pat. You look at Canelo, for example, how he slips punches. They say he don't have head movement. He barely moves his head. That's what happened. He barely moves his head off the center line, so you miss the shot. So he's conserved so much energy in doing that. Fighters today know how to control the tempo of a fight, how to slow down a fight. There's so many different things that you can do defensively that people don't know about, you know, and how you just little movements, little things that change the tempo of a fight, you know. And Tank was talking a little bit about that. You got to calm yourself down. You got to keep your composure. You might get hit with certain shots, but you keep your composure so you can see what you need to do, you know. So the new age fighters today, they borrow from the past greats. Don't get me wrong. In the past, you can't ignore the past greats, right? And what they did. And if you're really being well schooled in boxing, you got to look at that. But what I'm saying is, the guys today sharpened up a lot of things, learn how to perfect a lot of things. You know, that's where Ward and Mayweather shun, because they work really hard at certain things and learn how to master those things. And that's why they can be in the ring with almost any fighter. It's kind of like hang time. They buy themselves time to deal with a fighter. You know, a fighter come out all hot and heavy initially with the challenge, but they keep their composure and they're looking for ways to neutralize that, and not only neutralize it, but also to to control the situation, you know. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. You know, I remember in the very first round, Marcus McDonald versus Floyd Mayweather. I'm gonna use Andrew Ward afterwards, where Marcus McDonald caught Floyd on the temple at the top of the head, and it was an awkward punch. He caught him on the top of the temple, and Floyd went back. But you could see, even though he got hit and jarred by the top of the temple with that awkward punch, his composure was still there. And while Marcus McDonald was throwing all these hail bombs and all these missiles at him, he was keeping his composure. He was getting knocked around. At least his guard was getting knocked around and shit. But he was still keeping his composure, watching to see what Marcus McDonald was doing. And by the end of the round, he was the one in control of the round because he landed a set of body punches, blocked a lot of shots, and was able to turn the tables on Marcus McDonald in the very first round. And that's because, again, controlling the tempo, keeping your composure. Right? You keeping your composure, you can control the tempo of the fight. Because the other guy, he's in kill mode, yes. But in his kill mode, if he's not precise about what he's attacking, because you're being a bit elusive, you're moving just that much to take steam off of certain things, he can't really do what he wants to do. Unlike Juan Herrera, when Regis Prograis hurt him and started crashing him, Juan Herrera didn't know exactly how to close the distance, how to luck up on Regis Prograis. Prograis proved to be the stronger guy in there and wrestled him off easily and started plowing at him, right? But given another situation with another fighter, Prograis would not have been able to do so. See? And those are situations now that Heraldez can go back and learn from and learn how to deal with a situation like that, having dealt with a top-tier fighter. So in a way, even though Heraldez got his tail beat up pretty bad, that's a nice learning experience for him in the sense that he can take that experience now and learn how to deal with situations like that. So when a situation like that happens again, he shouldn't be in the same boat. He would know what to do there, because that's a lot of things that, again, a lot of fighters don't know what exactly to do in those situations. And so he gets that experience for that. So hopefully it's a learning experience for him and Hawkins as well. You know, how to... Well, Hawkins was doing some good things against Matthias. You know, he was able to push him to the ropes, bumping him with the shoulder, but then Matthias made an adjustment to that. But when you're dealing with a guy who's physically stronger than you, and you have to know the techniques and the skills to be able to deal with a guy like that, to move a guy like that around, to get him where you want him in the ring. You have to control it, and to be able to do that, you have to slow it down. I think Andrew Ward, for example, versus Sergey Kovalev. Of course, Andrew Ward was the stronger of the two in that case. But when Kovalev dropped Ward, noticed Ward, he realized, okay, so I got to keep this guy off of me. So I got to use my jab. I got to use my footwork. And then when I get on the inside, I'm on the inside. And I got to commit to that. So it's those kinds of things. Now, here's what Heraldez probably didn't do properly with Regis Prograis. When you're coming in on a guy like Regis Prograis, and he might want to use his forearm, the first thing you got to do is get low. You can't just roll off the ropes and try and bump him. Sometimes he can target that, step back, and hit you with a shot. But what you can do is you can get low still. So you dip to your right, and you dip super low. Try and get under the shot, okay? And then you rock back. You're going forward and backwards, the forward and backwards move. So he will come short with his shots. But you got to make sure your lead foot is in a position. Now, when you're hurt, you can't think about all that. So that's becomes secondary. You got to be able to do those things secondary. And that takes a lot of muscle memory, a lot of work, and applying yourself at that. So you're good at that. So in a situation like that, you have your feet as a guard, and then you have your body moving in and out, and then you swing in. Once you get in, you should have your head. You try to get your head into his chest and off to an angle. And then you clinch up and you lock him down. And he has to physically lift you off the ground to get you, because some of these guys, you got to get to the lower ground. To lock up a guy like that, you got to get to the lower ground. You got to get below him. So he has to put his weight down on you. He could still throw punches at your body in the meantime, but you got to get the lower ground on him. Otherwise, he'll beat you up bad. You get beat up bad, because some guys know how to slip out of a clinch, which is what Reggie Prograis did. He denied him the clinch by dipping down and pushing out his arms to get out the clinch. But if you get low like he's getting low, you can get below him and lock him up, which is the idea. But if you don't know how to lock up, you're in trouble. You gotta know how to lock up a fighter properly when you're hurt. And if you can't lock him up, what you do is you take a knee. Take a knee. If you see the guys coming through the barrage, and you realize he's gonna hit you again, take a knee and block your head. So he doesn't catch you with a punch while you down on the ground. You know what I mean? Boxing. It's a dangerous sport, man. Protect yourself at all times. Savannah Marshall's win over I forgot what the girl's name is. Good win for the vacant WBO title. So she's a champion now. So hopefully Clarissa Shields can face her. Marshall be calling out Shields. So she got a belt. It's a WBO title. So Marshall should be ready to Shields should be ready to take on that challenge. Marshall's big. She's tall. I don't know, she might be 6 foot something. She's a big, tall middleweight. I love to see that fight. And Michaela Mayer, she had a win on the top ranked card. Did a lot of body punching, a lot of body work. I don't know if she hurt in any way her opponent, but she put in a lot of body work. You know what I mean? So Michaela Mayer goes on to become WBO, I think it's like super featherweight world champion. She is now. So she's become world champion as well over the weekend. Congrats to her. It's a fight. Boxing's about fighting, right? So Jay Homel asset. Gary talks too much shit, but no action. I agree. I agree. I just want to say this on Usyk. Usyk Has he convinced us he could beat one of those big heavyweights? No. Um, we watched some of Usyk versus Chisora, and while Slim beat Chisora, the thing I think is, if a heavyweight knows you can beat them on points, but you can't stop them. Let's just stop them from running through you. Your elusiveness, your defense, you know. Now Derek was in great shape. You know, with switch hitting. Was doing some good things. Was motivated. Usyk could get started by any top 10 heavyweight. I don't know. I don't know. He has good skills. You know? I don't know if he could beat. I don't know if he could beat the top guys. I don't know if he could beat them. If they land on him flush, it's over. You know, they were talking about, I was listening on a Ringside Reporter, they say Andy Ruiz versus Usyk. I don't think you want to put Andy Ruiz in there with Usyk, though. Even though Usyk can box. Andy's faster than Chisora. You know? Andy can take a punch, so I don't think that's a good idea. Derek Chisora is kind of slow, you know, slow laboring fighter. But I still think Chisora could have gotten him out of there around 7, 8, 9, 10. He just kind of took his foot off the gas. But to make an impression in the division, to make an impression, convince people, okay, you could be a threat. He hasn't done that. He more create the impression that he would survive. He's a survivor. He would survive, you know. We don't want to know you could survive. We want to know you're a threat. I don't think anybody, based on that performance, would think that he can be a threat to Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Luis Ortiz, you know, those kinds of guys. Usyk himself said heavyweight's a totally different thing, you know. I don't think right now he has what it takes to beat those top level guys. But he wants his shot at Joshua. I think Joshua's faster than Chisora, more accurate than Chisora. He wants a shot at the WBO title. I mean, boxing science says Usyk has no power. His goal is to outbox you 12 rounds. I mean, he got some power. He got some pop. But you got to put it together, you know? And he didn't put it together enough against Chisora. He should have gotten Chisora the day after the 7th round. He's been going in for the kill. He wasn't doing that. So I don't know if it's because he wanted Chisora to just tire himself out and drop and quit like Chaz Witherspoon did. You know? But Chisora was never going to quit. No. Don't get me wrong. He did some good stuff. Hanging there with those big guys, you know. Chisora is a name. You know? But those bigger guys, man. The guys with speed and quickness and boxing IQ. I don't know. I don't see him beating those guys. Usyk would beat AJ. AJ has stamina issues. I can't see it. I'm sorry, I can't see it. AJ is way stronger than Usyk. He's going to have to respect that power. He's much more accurate than Chisora. I don't see him beating AJ. AJ does have a little bit of chin issue. But I don't think Usyk's the guy to check his chin. Usyk didn't show me much against Chisora in terms of getting a guy out of there. That's how Ruiz beat AJ. His stamina is very poor. But AJ just went 12 with Ruiz, man. He went 12 with Ruiz. Non-stop movement. I don't believe that. AJ has good stamina, man. Especially now. Where he doesn't have all that muscle on him. First fight he got caught on the temple. Remember on the first fight he got caught on the temple? Fuck sides, fuck out of here, bro. Usyk's gonna go night against AJ. I don't know. Plus he tried. Plus he tried. I don't know. I don't know if Usyk, he was tired. Who was tired? AJ? No, he got punch drunk. Ruiz knocked him down 4 times, man. He was punch drunk. Get knocked down once, you'll see how much energy you're sapped. That's your brain crashing into your skull, bro. You got punch drunk. He did well enough. He got up every single time and was ready to go. Happens in the gym, man. You get knocked down. When you get up, your equilibrium's off too, and on top of that, you feel slow. Everything slow down. I remember getting hit. I didn't feel the punch, but people were telling me the guy was just punching up my head. And I was just wobbling all over the place. I never felt the punch. That's how bad it was. My system shut down. But when I got up, I felt like, I don't know how to explain it to you. I felt super, super, super heavy. AJ quit the first fight? No, he didn't. The referee called it off. He got back up. He was ready to go. AJ. I don't see that happening, but hey, entitled to your opinion. No, AJ didn't acknowledge the referee's instruction to quit. No, he did. He said yes. Are you ready to fight? He said yes. So come to me. And he got up to go to the referee, and the referee called off the fight. Quit. You think he could quit and then want an immediate rematch? He wanted an immediate rematch. Outbox Ruiz. No. If he quit, he would have stayed on the ground. He wouldn't have got back up. Quitters don't get up off the canvas after they knock down. Quitters don't come off the canvas, boxing scientists. They don't get off the canvas. They just stay there on the ground. After he got knocked down the second time, should have called it a day if he was a quitter. They just don't have quitting in them, but not at all. He was angry with the ref when the ref called it off. Said, what? He didn't quit. I disagree. Just like Wilder didn't quit with Tyson Fury either. Those guys don't know how to quit. Those guys got the mentality, to beat me, you got to kill me. Derek Chisora did a hell of a job, man. Anyways, people, I'm out of here. What you need in the building. Don't be fooled. Many great fighters have quit. Yeah, Durant quit. But Durant literally said, no mas. All right. Some fighters say I want no more. And that's that. That wasn't AJ's. That wasn't AJ. You know what I mean? I'm gonna catch you guys later, man. What you need in the building? Spend an hour and 22 minutes talking boxing with you guys. Hope you guys have a good one. Peace.